There we go. We are live. We are live. How's everybody doing?
Good, good,
Can
good.
you guys hear me clearly? Hold on. Let me see if I can take off. I don't want a situation with my. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah. Did y'all miss me?
Hope you guys have not missed me too much.
Oh man.
It's been 2 weeks for Mr. Lana.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
two
I
weeks,
know.
2 weeks of hard work.
Of how, yes,
2 weeks of 2 weeks of surviving. 2 weeks of surviving Rochelle.
Let's talk about being you. All right, let's get started. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Married Let's Talk. This is the coming back at you. Hello. If this is your first time checking up on us or you just came across our channel, please don't forget to subscribe at the bottom if you're watching us from YouTube. And if you are an amazing alumni, you've been here with us, you listen to us every Thursday, every Tuesday, some Saturdays, thank you so much for being a part of our family. Miss Solana, Miss Liz, I just want to say thank you for always being there.
Yeah.
Mention.
I'm gonna call you there.
Mention.
Don't mention it.
I really appreciate you guys, and I just want to thank God that I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but I just truly want to say thank you for always being there. So today, so all of our listeners that are watching today, our comment area is open. As soon as you put a comment, if we're not in a real deep conversation, I'll put it up so that we can talk about it. But today we're going to talk about troublesome in-laws. And how did I come about this topic? One of our regular watchers, she was like, Rashida, I'm going to need you to talk about this stuff, because it's truly affecting her and a lot of people that she knows. So before I say anything, I want to ask you guys, what has been your experience, or have you even ever had the experience of having in-laws that are just, That's what we're gonna say, Look at the both y'all. What y'all doing? Y'all always doing something. People are so keen to see you connected.
I'm trying to think of what, as you're talking, I'm taking it in and I'm trying to think of what you're talking about. Me personally, and I was thinking of different scenarios that I've well, how can I say? I won't say encountered because it's not me, because I never encountered. I'm blessed. I've been blessed 20-something years, and I have the best in-laws anybody can ask for. So I couldn't, but I've seen people that do deal with, different kind of in-laws. But in my particular case, I've been blessed. I mean, I'm loved all around. I'm I guess my name is my name. They came me all around. So, that's been my experience. But I've seen quite few that it makes you go, this can happen, or wow, they see human beings like this. It's amazing. It's amazing. I've seen a few, but let me start to talk and then we dig into it personally.
Okay. Wow.
I'm just like in our shoes too, in Kemi's shoes too. I've been fortunate. During the beginning, it wasn't that rosy. I didn't my in terms of my mother-in-law, she was in the beginning, because she was skeptical that this Nigerian boy coming from nowhere to come and marry my beautiful, lovely daughter.
Where's your wife? Not Nigerian, right?
No, because this Nigerian boy, Rochelle is not Nigerian. This young man coming from nowhere to now come and strip my daughter's foot just off like that. Who does he think he is? it was a little bit tough because our mom naturally she's tough, but I'm grateful to God right today is that today that I'm able to, I'm able to prune her down, bring
Not
her
really
down.
pull her down. Let's use a more healthier word. How did you do it?
It's all about to me. I think it's all about proving my worth,
showing that you really do care for the daughter.
Yeah, because I totally understand where she's coming from because we are all in the Western world and some of Rochelle's cousins have actually had serious and bitter experience with Nigerians in quotes. Let me put it that way. And suddenly Rochelle now coming in from nowhere, bringing another Nigerian boy. One Yoruba demon.
Yoruba demon.
They were coming from nowhere. And, in the beginning, our mom actually gave her a little of quiz in there. Like, no, I will not subscribe to this, But Rochelle followed her heart. She saw the potential. She saw that, yes, this is the man I want to be with. This is a man who is free at heart, a man who is selfless, a man who doesn't keep malice and things like that. And to her, she was like, she saw the potential in me, and she was like, you know what, I'm sticking to my guns and I'm marrying this guy, and today, I think it took a while. It took almost about 4 or 5 years before I could bring my mother-in-law to my side.
Wow.
Because all was always on the edge, always on the edge. Anything I say in the house, she wants to stamp her authority, and me, I know how to handle Rochelle. It's either my words or which one, But this past few years, about 3 years now, it's been wonderful, because I noticed that now she's more relaxed. She's just a true self actually just came out, because now she's the most wonderful woman you can ever think of. Even though we have our differences, there's no way we always, even with our father. Our father is not even a father-in-law, he's a father. He's a father. Now our mom has now become now I have 2 moms. My mother and my own biological mom. And the way we interact at home, it clearly shows that no matter it clearly shows we've been able to wave through the storm. Because I noticed that most of the problem we have in our society is that everybody wants to maintain their authority. Nobody wants to shift post. In the beginning, like Kemi is lucky because our in-laws welcomed her wholeheartedly from day one.
Right.
There are people that their in-laws did not, accept them wholeheartedly from day one. Yeah. But they actually have to build that trust. They actually have to build that love. But because they feel there is a crack in the beginning, they too will now start doing things that will make things worse. So, but if I should use my own example, yes, it wasn't that rosy in the beginning, but I was able to warm through her heart. So actually to understand that the intentions I have for our daughter are of great intention, not of evil, but of good intention. I'm here to stick with our daughter to get to do what's part, and we will grow old to old age till all our teeth are falling off. And even that when our teeth are falling off, we'll still be jiggy.
Let me ask you a question though, because in some way, form, or fashion, I'll eventually explain mine. I had a little bit of your experience and a little bit of Kemi's experience as well. Like Kemi said in the beginning, that you understood, you should be able to understand where the mother was coming from, because obviously a lot of Nigerians had done. We can't even begin to. I can't even put a label on it. Things that are just not, doesn't even make sense to a lot of daughters that are not from where we're from, talk less of the ones that are from where we're from. Did you just constantly love the mother more? Did you just continue to do for her? You never stepped up to her, right?
No, it's just a matter of just being myself.
Right.
I just continue being myself.
Right.
I never changed. Because I will never be who I'm not.
Right.
That's the key.
So I do the things I know I carry on doing. Being compassionate. Even to now, we still have serious disagreement because my mother-in-law is someone like it has to be me, myself, my family. But the way I'm structured about it's not only we, it is we. The community is my family. We have to do things because the way I do, I give freely to the society, being able to, give out, like what we've been doing with our product. Let me use our product for example. We've actually been donating to the police, donating to the NHS staff, to the health sector, so that people can actually snack along because most of them go without break. Because we've been able to identify that there's so many people out there right now that have lost their job, they don't have food at all. So the little we can do is to try and ease the problem. And if we can create jobs for them, which they know that they can make more money out for themselves, at the same time we are providing them with food and things that will make their life much easier. It will go a really long way. But my mother-in-law is on the fence when it comes to that. She's like, you have to save for your family alone, and we disagree a lot on it. And I know the kind of person she is. I go ahead and do what I have to do. I go ahead and do what I have to do. And what matters most to me is my wife. Right. Is she in agreement with what we're doing? Right. Rochelle is even in more agreement than myself. Because we've been able to understand ourselves, and she's been able to understand where we're going. She knows where we're going. The main focus is how much can we impact the world out there? How much can we impact the society out there? It shouldn't be all about us. It's all about we. And let me ask you a big problem with that.
Right. Let me ask you a question, because I have uncles like you. I have a lot of guys that I know that are like you. But are you making, when I say they're like you, is that, we have some men that they would do a lot for outside. They would do a lot for the masses, but their family would be the one to suffer for it. Like they're not doing enough home. When the children or the wife says, but everybody outside know that you're so amazing, he's so this, he's so that. But the immediate family are the ones that are going through it or not really enjoying you. You're not like that, right? You make sure home is taken care of.
No.
Perfect.
No. Even though there are several times my missus always tell me like, Lana, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. You do too much. You're not giving me attention.
Who says that?
Whenever she tells me that, Rochelle tells me that I'm not giving her attention, and whenever I get no, one thing about it, that's why we have to have balances. Whenever she complains like that, I know that yes, Lano, that means I'm doing things in excess. So
she's not
I always have to put a gear one reverse into it, so that I give her that, because she is number one, no matter what.
Amen.
Number one has to be taken care of.
Number one has to be taken care of. And then number two are the children.
Number two are the children. Then number three are the grandchildren. And number three are the grandparents. And number three are the grandparents. And then after grandparents, the community.
Thank you so much for that story. But one thing I wanted to ask is, when you do come out strong like that, how's the relationship between Rochelle and her mom?
Oh, they disagree to agree. They disagree to agree. Serious one. That several times I've actually overheard them, going into serious agreement. Lano said he's going to do it this way, and that's the way we're going to do it.
That's it. That's it. Because let me tell you something. I've witnessed a lot of in-laws, mother-in-laws, destroy marriages.
Yeah.
I've witnessed that, and I've seen that. And it breaks my heart for wives to not understand that once you're married, it says that a man will leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and they will become one, right? They will become one. That means that and I'm not talking about to the extreme of, because there's a lot of things running through my mind. I'm not talking about the extreme of you can't do for this, you can't do for that. But when a man leaves his home and cleaves with his wife and they become one, they should talk about things that they're going to either do for extended family or not do for extended family. And another thing that I truly believe is extremely important is for the couples to talk about everything.
Yeah.
Do not allow someone from the outside, which is your mom and your dad or your siblings, to control what you have in this union.
Yeah,
They've had you for some time. You've been with them for some time. You've grown up in their space. Now you have left their space in order to create a community for you and your family that you're going to be building. Why would you not allow the outside influence to dictate what happens in your home? It is wrong. It is wrong. I'm going to tell you a story of, because growing up, I've had aunties that, marriage didn't work out, and it was because of mother-in-law. And they will always pray that, Rashida, don't worry, you're not going to have this problem. We pray that by the time you get married, your mother-in-law is dead. We pray that you ain't going to have this situation. Yeah, that's what they used to pray. You're not going to have this situation because when you get married, we all going to marry the guy you marry. I'm like, what's all that about? But one thing that I respect my husband so much for till this day is the fact that when his mother came, when I had my baby November 1st, my first child, it's new. November 1st, my mother-in-law came November 15th. And in New York, that's the winter seasons. In New York, it is cold, freezing. At that time, it was really like below zero, and it was already snowing. So I had no idea that when he went to go and pick up his mother, he sat his mother down in the car. And he literally told Alaja, the plane that brought you to the United States of America is still going back to Nigeria tonight. If what I'm about to tell you is not okay with you, we ain't even got to go home. Let's stay right here. I'll get you lunch and dinner. I'll put you on the plane. He says in America, husbands and wives do things together. This is not Nigeria, where the wife is the one that cook, clean, do everything. Take care of the child. He says, no. He says, in my house, you will see me. I can be even washing my wife's clothes. I can be taking out the garbage. I can be sweeping the floor. Is that okay with you? And my mother-in-law literally said, that's the way it should be. She says, Nigeria and the African country, they have turned, many of them have turned their wives into slaves. They turned their wives into house helps.
Exactly.
By the time my mother-in-law came home, I'm a hugger. I'm not the one that knew that I'm a hugger. So I went and hugged her. Do you know, a week or 2 weeks later, all of a sudden I came home from work and my mother-in-law, she had cleaned my clothes, she had cooked. I was like, you don't have to do that. She says, no, you are my daughter. She says, Yinka was my last born, but now you are the last born.
Exactly what my mom tells me.
I will do much more for you. And that's how it should be. But when you have a troublesome in-law, I've been blessed, just like Kemi. I've been blessed that because before when my husband asked me my hand in marriage, I told him that I had to see his mother before I could say yes to the proposal. Because I love my parents, and I want to know how he treats his parents, and I want to know how what his mother think about him, and stuff like that. So I traveled. My mother and I went to Nigeria to go and visit his mother. And from the first day I met her, she's a Muslim, we're Christians, but she sat in our living room And my mother and her, when it was time to pray, my mother would say, "Our Father who art in heaven." This woman, Elijah, my mother in love, she was also saying, "Our Father who art in heaven." I was shocked, like dumbfounded, because a Muslim, you know how Muslims are. A Muslim would not say, "Our Father who art in heaven." Hallelujah. Knew it. And she called me. She said, "My daughter," after we finished praying and everything, she told me to come and sit in her lap. And she said, "Will you marry me?" I was a bit naive. I was like, "I'll marry your son. I ain't marrying you." She was like, "Yes, when you marry my son, you married me." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, "So when are you coming to America?" She said, "I'm not coming right now, but as soon as you guys have your baby, I'll be there." Do you know the day that I gave birth to my daughter was the same day that she received her visa in Nigeria, November 1st. So when she came to America, she calls my daughter Abanidelu, Amunidelu, or something like that. Something like that, yeah. It was because of her. She's the one that made me get the visa. So Amunidelu
looks like her the most.
She has a name for everything. My own name is Afeni Ferry. She has names for everything.
Yeah.
So when they're saying that people are having troublesome in-laws, Mr. Lana, I like what you said, where you still remained yourself. You did not change because of what was going on. But let me ask you this question. How did your family accept Rochelle?
Rochelle was from day one has been fantastic.
Oh,
it's not that he's not. I'm not saying it because she's my wife. I'm saying it because of what I actually saw. Because I remember she first of all met my sister, and when she met my sister was like, no, I'm on the babe sex. Not only Rochelle has always been very, very humble and jovial. That's Rochelle. So when my mom met her, it didn't even take time. My mom was like, "Lano, if this girl will go for your hand,
wow.
And apart from that, but take it or leave it. There's no way there won't be friction between the two of them.
Right.
I've seen the two of them have friction several times.
Who? Your who?
My wife and my mom. There's no way. It's normal. It's normal. There's no way. It's normal.
Women.
There will be one or two. You remember different cultures, different personality, two different worlds coming together. It's all about it's not about understanding. It's not about being able to, it's all about compromise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My mom is a Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, your mom is?
My mom is a Margaret Thatcher.
Did you warn your wife though?
But Rochelle, I told her, Rochelle too herself is Margaret Thatcher too. So you can imagine two irons when they meet, one will have to bend. But I was shocked to the bone marrow that the two of them accepted themselves.
Wow.
Today, mom always say, Rochelle is the last born. And truly, though my little sister is few months younger than Rochelle.
Okay.
They're just 2 months apart.
Right.
The same day, the same birthday with my cousins.
Wow.
They were born the same day, the same year.
Wow.
When I'm celebrating on 30th of September, I celebrate 3 birthdays. We call them triplets.
Wow.
We call them triplets. But you know what? Basically,
I don't want to go to speaker. You have the echo coming in.
Me, myself.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Let me see. Let me try and read this. Is it better now?
Okay, yeah.
Is it better now? But that means I can't hear you. I can't hear you well again. But let's go.
Okay.
So basically, if you look at it, that several times the two of them have and exactly what your husband did was what I did to my mom.
Okay, very good.
Sat her down and made her understand. Mom, Rochelle manages people. She's used to, she's used to being a leader. Rochelle is not a boss. That's one thing I love about her. She has never been a boss. She has always been a leader. She set things by example, and I made my mom understand that she's not Omowa, so you have to accept her the way she is. And yes,
for people that don't understand Yoruba, she's not Omowa, mean that
she's not part of, she doesn't understand our culture.
The culture is different, yeah.
Yeah, the culture is different, but but she's willing to learn.
Right.
She's really, really learning. Even to my amazement, several times my cousin, let's leave that. But one thing I noticed is that every time they have a little bit of friction, they both know how to settle it. There are times they will have a friction. Before I get back home, the two of them will have settled it. There was one that I actually met. I actually met them in the middle of the friction. Meeting them in the middle of the friction. I just left the two of them. and go and have my shower. It's mother and daughter. Settle yourself.
You didn't get involved.
Deal with it. I don't get involved. It's only when my mom now tries to Lano, continue where she go by. She was like, oh Lano, grandma, I have to spell everything out to grandma. And I was like, and I also have to make her understand that, this is something she's been doing all the years. You have been doing all your years. I don't take sides. But what I try to understand, what I try to do is to try to let them reason from their own point of view. If you let people understand their view from their own point of view, that look, put yourself in this person's shoe. This is what this person has been used to all their life. And you can just come around and just tell them to change just like that. It's a gradual thing. And also, I tell my mom too the same thing. Mom, this is what she's been used to all her life. She grew up. So you can't just tell her, you can't just expect her to understand you straight away, just like that. So with that, they're able to develop that mutual relationship too, and that mutual respect within the two of them. My mom respects her so much, and Rochelle at the same time gives my mom so much respect that even myself, at times I always try to give my mom some jabs, some joke jabs. And Rochelle was like, Rick, you imagine, at times I will even have argument with my mom. And you see the two of them, ganging up against me.
Yes.
You can imagine. And it always gets to a stage where the two of them, let's say the three of them, my mom, my mother-in-law, and my wife, they will have concluded between the three of them. Only they just give me information. Hey, Lano, we decided to, and I was like, oh well, I'm sorry, that is not my way. But we've all decided.
That's right. That's a happy family situation. It's a happy family situation. Yeah, that you guys are growing into yourselves. You're getting to know what it takes in order to compromise. What you have to compromise in order to, because we're all not the same. We don't have the same personalities. We don't have the same temperament. Another thing that I wanted to say is that it's so funny how your story is like this, and I say that to Lana, because you're the only son.
Exactly.
You're the only male child. Like, how many sisters do you have again? If I start counting from my mom, we're I've got 3 sisters. 3 sisters and then you.
And then me.
Okay.
So I'll leave it that way so I don't.
I know we're talking about that story. The Rolling Stone. Your daddy was a Rolling Stone.
Fine boy. No.
Because a lot of times, mothers that have just one son, and correct me, Liz, Miss Kemi, if you understand the story, a lot of African parents, when it's only that one son that they have to control everything, the woman that will marry their son must know that she is definitely married to them, and whatever they say, go. So I love the way that you handle it, where if they were to have any friction, you don't get in it. You don't come in between them. And it was just so funny because my husband did that one time. There was one particular time, and I tell the story when, and this is years after, I think, how old was my daughter by then? Now my mother-in-law had been living with us for about 5 years. And I just had my son at the time. I just had my son, 4 years. And she takes care of my children, right? We're living in the same house together. But and she prays a lot. She, Muslims, they have to do that five times a day prayer. So I'm in my room. My husband's downstairs watching television. I'm in my room. I'm cleaning. I'm doing everything. And I hear my son crying. So yeah, I've been crying for a minute. I'm like wondering. And she's been holding on to him, but she wasn't able to focus on her prayer. So she brought the baby. She brought my son to me. And Yatunu, that's what she calls me. Yatunu, help me take this baby while I finish praying. So I take my son and he's still crying. And he is at it. So I patted him. I checked his diapers. I asked, did he eat? She was like, yeah, she has already fed him. Okay. So he continued to cry. I was like, okay, no, you want to cry, cry. Your diaper is not wet. There's nothing wrong with you. I checked you. Why are you crying? So I left him to cry. I put him right on the bed while I was fixing stuff. And he just kept on crying. Okay. And she went to the room to go and continue her prayer. She came back 10, 15 minutes later, like, give me the child. I said, no. No. She said, give me. I said, no, go and finish your prayer. Because I don't understand what the problem is. He has eaten, his diapers are changed, there's nothing wrong with him. Maybe he's using his vocal cords, She would not, she was banging my door down. I said, no, Elijah, I'm not giving you the child. She started banging the door. She now called my husband. My husband he didn't even say anything. He stayed downstairs.
My grandchild.
After a while, when she was knocking the door down, I now took the baby and ran downstairs. Do you know? At the time, she must have been about 80 something. This woman ran downstairs with me, after me, and she just wanted that baby. Like, give me the baby. I said, no. I said, this is my child. Like, can I? That was the only time in our life that we ever had a misunderstanding. And it was because, I wanted to put my foot down, like, this is my child, and whatever I want to do with him is what I'm going to do. She came downstairs after me. I passed my husband. You even think my husband would say something. You are just taking his remote control, just changing the channel. We passed it. It wasn't passing. I went back upstairs. I closed the door again. But when I felt in my spirit that I'm really working this woman. I'm working this woman. Okay, let me just give her the child. I gave her the child. Then she went into her room and she closed the door. I was like, what just happened? That was the only time, and I was upset. And she noticed that when I come home from work, I'll greet her and I'll just go into my room. I'll greet her and I'll go into my room. I wasn't the same anymore. Then she now called my mother. Please, help me beg Ife. Please, help me beg Yatunu. That was the only time in my 19 years of marriage.
I was trying to help you.
She tried well, but I was just like, because I don't spoil children like that. I don't like children to. I let children. I don't do it, and I don't want anybody to spoil my children for me. So I'm like, you know what? If we've done everything that we can do, what can be causing this child to cry? Maybe you don't allow him to cry, so he just wants to cry. So let him go at it. Exercise the lung. So that was the only time. And when she called my mom, my parents ended up coming the Sunday, and they now asked me, Rashida, what's going on? I was like, no, I just feel like I know she loves my children to a fault, but I need her to recognize and to understand they are my children, at the end of the day, So she apologized and everything. She said she was just worried for a child who was not a crying baby to be crying for that long and we not know. And I get it, you understand. But since then, we've never had an altercation. She's lived with me for over 13 years. She went to Nigeria for about 4 or 5 years. Then she came back because she's a good mother-in-law and mother-in-law. She's never my mother-in-law. So It bothers me when I see mother-in-laws literally come into their children's marital home and break it. I'm breaking. Yeah. So if we had more men like you, Lana, who would just say, Mom, this is what my husband said, Mom, this is my wife's home.
Exactly.
In a respectful manner. I don't have an issue with my wife, Mom. If you have an issue with her, then maybe
choose of words is very, very important. The way we construct statement is very, very important. Mm-hmm. The way we like Yoruba will say agbekalioro. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
The way we push it through and the way we put it in really, really matters. Because where I know people, where I could understand people have actually got it wrong as a choose of words. The way we construct the sentence goes a long, long, long way.
I get it.
Long way. Mutual understanding. Someone like Rochelle, someone like my wife, if she's fighting with you, forget it. She'll be talking normal. But me, you are, what is it? Okay. And I'll start whenever I notice that I start my stammer, I know that yes, it's getting to my. What I just do, I just calm down, count 1 to 100 inside of me. If she hasn't calmed down, I'll still be counting 1 to 100, and she will want answers immediately. And you can't give the answer because you're counting 1 to 100 just to calm down. My mom, from my own mom's point of view, my mom happens to be, I think she, from day one, yes, I think when we were growing up, she was a little bit possessive about her son.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since I moved down to England, she loosened up a bit because I remember she told me that no, you have your life to live. You mold your life. Like what she said, a normal slogan in Yoruba. Sorry for my Yoruba speaking people. Like, that's my mom's statement. That means a child that doesn't have a mom doesn't go hurt himself in the back. That means take it as if I am not here at all. So you need to be at your best behavior. Those words always ring bell in my ears. And probably I've been able to educate. And another thing that matters most is the way we present our in-laws, ourselves, our family to in-laws matters a lot. It really, really matters a lot. And the way we introduce our spouses to our in-laws matters a lot. It matters a lot. If you introduce your spouse as a dickhead, your family will treat him as one.
And that is why no matter what your spouse does to you, I always tell people you should not be running back home to tell your family, he did this to me, she did that to me. Because at the end of the day, when you have forgiven your spouse, you will not believe that your family might not have forgiven your spouse.
Exactly.
Your mother's child, your father's child, they love you dearly. Now, somebody to come from nowhere and be treating their own the way they treat, they will not like it. They will not like it. Your spouse, at the end of the day, they will see that this person is treating our child the wrong way. And that's where, that kind of attitude but when you let them know, anytime they talk to you, and that's always people, whatever you're going through, finish it in your bedroom. Talk about it in your bedroom. People don't need, I remember, when I first got
starting in the sitting room and finish it up in the bedroom.
Okay. I remember when we first got married, my husband and I wanted my husband to switch career at that time. And it used to be something that would go back and forth. So one day I called my father-in-law and I said, Dad, he was with us because he travels for Canada to come and visit. And I said, Dad, you will not believe this is my father-in-law. No, stop right there. Whoa. My father-in-law, like, okay. He said, never in your life.
Oh my.
Ever.
Oh my.
Report your husband to me.
Oh my.
To your mother, to his mother, to anybody. He said, this is a union between you and him.
Wow.
And then I learned. He said, after you've forgiven him, what if I don't forgive him?
Wow.
What if you don't forgive him? He said, so instead of you to come and tell me what, just finish it up in your bed. I don't need to know. I don't need, and that's why I learned that. I learned that, and since then, with my kids, when I say, my in-laws, when I, met them, my father-in-law had spent time with me even before, my husband and I started dating. So I guess he saw my person, and he told my husband.
Even before you guys got married?
Before we got married, before we even started dating, because my husband was a roommate to a friend. So I used to do braids in those days. So I had to go. My father-in-law was in vacation with his wife, his fiance at that time, and I went to do the braids. So he was able to spend like 3 days. I was there for 3 days because I had to do his hair and 2 other daughters. So when he saw my person, that's how my father-in-law fell in love with me. And he told me, this girl must not go. Well, however you do it, you must marry this girl. Because afterwards, I was like, what did you ever do to my father or say to my dad? What happened? He said, he told me you must not go. So it's very important for us to be ourselves around our in-laws. It's very, very important, because then when they know who you are, it makes them, fall in love with you.
To love you.
It's easier to love you. And then another thing, it has to do with, the husband and the wife too. Like Mr. Leonard says, how you present your spouse to your family.
Yeah.
I remember when my mom came to spend time with us. I've had my second baby then. And one day my husband went out. He just went out. And my mom came. Where's your husband? I said, he went out. Okay, she'll go back to her room. And then later, he's not back yet. I said, no, he's not back yet. You should go back to her room. Then at a time, he said, are you looking at it? It's 9 o'clock. Your husband is not home yet. I said, ma. Excuse me, ma. He said, what? I said, please, how many wives did my husband marry to this house? He said, 1. Okay. I said, because I felt there's only 1. I said, when did you become a wife in the house? I said, I beg. I beg. It's my husband. She means my own husband. Which one is your own? My mother said, if you want me to call my dad, because my dad was in Canada at that time, you want me to call your husband? He's in Canada. I can pick up phone and you can check up on it. But my own husband, please leave me alone. My mother said, I'm sorry. I shut up my mouth. She ran into her room.
Let me make you laugh. Let me make you laugh, Kevin. I think my mother-in-law too was once like that. I can remember there are times I always come back home very, very late, as in 2 a.m., 3 a.m., all because of work, because I always make it a point of duty to always come back home, no matter what. Even if I leave 5 a.m. the following day, I always try to make sure I come back home, except if I know it's absolutely inevitable. Remember, Rochelle would have gone to bed. She would be fast asleep. And you see her mom standing and waiting. by the time I get into the house, I'm gonna be like, I'm very sure what she's doing is watching the time. And I can tell how many times she would have actually told Rochelle that, look at the time that it's coming back home. Look at the time that it's coming back home. And trust my wife, she will never, I think she only told me once. She only told me was that mom said you actually came back very, very late. Me, I was fast asleep. I'm like, well, I have to leave home early the following morning. She didn't bother. Ever since then, she didn't even bother telling me. I think basically what she did was just to like silence her mom. Like, wait, what's your problem?
Exactly. He's my husband.
Me, that is the wife. I am fast asleep. Already far away. You're my mom. You are my mom. You became a night watch.
I love what both of you said about being yourself.
Yeah.
In your being yourself, owning your own truth. Don't try to be who you're not. And this happen a lot of times in these marriages. A lot of time in marriages. If anyone has questions, just put your comments there. We'll answer them. But how do you, when you do have that type of conflict with the in-laws? We've talked a lot about the mom and the dad. But let's say you're a sibling that does not like your spouse. How do you handle that?
But if you look at it, what is the genesis of your siblings not liking your spouse?
They just don't feel like she's good enough.
Yeah.
She's not good enough.
Rashida, I can tell you the genesis of most of those problems is basically what that person must have told their family members, told their siblings.
Wow.
95% of it, take it or leave it, is what they must have told their siblings. Probably maybe when they were cutting.
Yes.
Like, he's just an idiot. He's just an idiot. You're not like an idiot. That means you two. It's the truth. And that's why anything that happens within the two of you have to stay within the two of you. Because if you talk ill of your other half to your family members, that means you over time they've developed that hatred within that person even before anything, and you always, no matter what you do, no matter how good that person is,
afterwards
you always have that reflection of that person, which they will always bring to the present to react to the person, to the other spouse. That's why I always tell people out there, be careful of what you tell your family about your other half. Be very, very careful. Anything you say will come back to haunt you in the future.
I truly believe there's a truth to that. I believe that that's very, very true, because I feel like I know that when you uplift your spouse to your family, when they now see this person, they too respect your spouse because they see how much you love your spouse and how much respect you have for that person. But what if in the beginning, the whole family accepted this person, everybody loved this person, and then later on, after children, after marriage, then she brings her true self out. You understand? Then she shows who she is. And for what is that sibling to? What are those family to do?
I still believe that no one is crazy, no one is mad. Something always brings out the madness in someone. What is the genesis of that person changing? What is the root? That's why I always say, what is the root cause of the problem?
You are
looking at the symptoms. You are looking at people pretend on a good day. People pretend. I know people pretend.
Just like Kenny said, take it to make you get
when they're married.
Yeah.
But I always say, no matter how much that person pretends, you're in a marriage for a year or 2 years, 6 months is more than enough for you to understand who someone is. I know some people have the tendency of hiding their character for years before they bring it out.
I'm talking about the spouse. The two spouse, they are living together. They understand. They understand one another. Is the in-laws that do not know who they. Okay, for instance, let me give you a real good example. Okay, let's say my sister. I know my sister. We're a raising family, but she married this guy now, and this is just an example. It's not a real whatever. She married this guy who, in the beginning, we were like, "Oh my God, he's so amazing!
He's the sweetest."
He came into the family, everybody is loving him, and all of that. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, I see that my sister doesn't look good. I see my sister's losing weight. I see my sister's not as free around us anymore. I see that certain things, it seems as if she's being controlled. I see that she's not open as she used to, and she dare not talk about it. In that situation, the guy faked who he was to us, made us love him, and then later on in the home brought out his true self.
I'll give you an example.
Huh?
I'll give you an example. I actually.
What do we do in that situation before?
But that's what I want to tell you. I'll give you an example. That actually happened that I know. And I will not say where, but I know very close to home, right? And this person, when this person was married, the whole family rallied. Actually, it's an aunt. The whole family rallied, I mean, because this aunt is the most quiet. Oh my goodness.
Quiet.
Angel, you cannot touch this one with the 10 foot. As in, when you put water in the mouth, that's where it stays. Okay. If anything happens, everybody, my mom will fight, my grandmother will fight, everybody will fight for this person.
Yeah.
After so many years, after the first kid, the second kid, the third kid, that the true color comes out. Now, mind you, it's an aunt. What the siblings do, or our siblings did, because my mom is very feisty, they rose up and say, come here. When we married you, this is who we saw.
To the
now,
world.
My mom, yeah, because that's her brother.
Right.
Where this one that you just pulled out of the closet came from. Put it back with immediate effect and mechanical alacrity, because we're not going to take it. We're not going to have it. Because you're making my brother, miserable. And now she had to go into the world and say, unless you're a witch that we don't know, no, okay. So why are you doing this if you are not? Why are you making your husband miserable? What are you gaining from it?
Do you know what came to my mind? Kemi, do you know what came to my mind? What actually came to my mind just now? Have you been able to do the mental evaluation of the person over time? If you look at it,
mental evaluation to the T, no mental issue.
All of us are mental, automatic.
The thing is that there's some people I've learned through the years that honestly they're wicked. They're wicked, but you will never know, because they want to put their best foot forward, and that's what they do. But at a point, my mother used to say something, and for those that don't understand Yoruba, I'm sorry. Efiniwa.
Yes, so it's smoke. Yes, your character is smoke. It will come out.
Character will explode because your persona cannot take it anymore. That's not who you are. We are pretending. One day, the real person will say, "Well, I can't hide here anymore." Let's show who we are.
To me, to an extent.
So you need.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Kenny.
So,
finish.
like you said, Rashida, somebody needs to rise up and say, "Okay, bring her back to, or him back."
Factory resets.
You have to punch
What if that person's acting like they're the victim? You know, that type of victim character.
They
always act like they are the victim. So some of the family would say, no, leave him or leave her. That's just, no, it's everybody else that's trying to bother him or her. This person, so that person has a victim type of mindset.
I know it happened. In this case, I'm talking about it happened. It happened. But you see, there's a saying too. When the lie runs for 20 years, it only takes one day for the truth to catch up. What I'm saying is this: when people sit down, like a mother said at the point, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Don't say nothing. Just watch the person. The person's true character will show. When his true character did show again, because after this, is this, is this, that's it, is him, is this, is that, that everybody now rises and say, hey, Lagbaja, is you now, now. The person's hands off. And I believe that with time, because this person I'm talking about is much older now, and that attitude has, at least she's not a grandmother, so she has left most of the, the ways, but somebody needs to stand up and let the person know that we see you. and we see what you're doing, and this is not what we married. Because if this is what we saw before we married you, probably wouldn't have married you.
Right.
You know, kind of, yeah. Somebody needs to speak up though before they kill. Like you say, if it's a young lady going through, before he kills the woman, and if it's a man, before he runs the man mad.
Yeah.
So in summary, everything just comes out to mutual understanding and respect.
And for everybody to know their role. You know,
exactly.
if this is who your wife is, if this is who your husband is, then, you know that once you become one, do not allow anyone to come in between you.
Yeah.
If you're okay with the way your wife is and you're okay with the way the husband is, just try as much as possible. If you're an extended family, I mean, if you know that this is your husband, this is your wife, just, and if you're okay with that, stick with it. Don't allow extended family to navigate the way that you would react with your wife or your husband, but then make them know that you must respect my family. I don't want to disrespect.
I'll quickly chip this in. I remember there was a time Rochelle and I actually had a little bit of misunderstanding, and my mom was there. My mom was in the lounge. The next thing I saw my mom did, guess what? She just stood up and went straight into her room and closed the door. Put on her earpiece. Yeah, Rochelle and I were actually having a little bit of misunderstanding. And we were in the dining, she was in the lounge. And guess what my mom did? My mom just stood up, went into the room, put on her earphone, was blasting watching all our videos on Facebook. So after she left all of us, like, have you guys settled yourself? And like, yes, mama. Okay, bye-bye.
That's what a word-in-law would do, to say that, you know what, these things do happen in marriage. Let me mind my own business. My mother-in-law, what she usually do is she'll be begging me, and I'm like, what are you begging me for? What you apologize? You didn't hurt my feelings. He did. I need him to apologize. But you know, she would continue to pray for us and keep us in prayer, and this is what in-laws should do. But with all of that being said, I'm just going to run through this real quick because I know that Mr. Lana has to step out. You have to be able to work with your spouse, know your spouse, husband and wife, set boundaries and limits.
Yes.
You have to set boundaries and limits. You have to enforce the boundary and limits. If there's certain things that your wife says, okay, when your mother-in-law come over, there's certain things, I don't want her doing this, and you guys agree on that, you know, let that be your bond. Communicate directly. Don't just and stop waiting for everybody to like you. If they don't like you, that's okay. You just continue to be who you are.
Exactly.
Amen. You can't change for anybody, because how many people are you going to continue to change for? After a while, you're going to lose who you are.
Tell me about it. You don't go crazy.
Yeah, and get with the program. Everybody don't have to like you.
And people need to understand, you trying to change for one person or the other actually end up and make the person trying to change end up being bipolar. You always end up being a mental health issues. That's the main reason why you always have to be yourself at all times.
Because they're always looking for acceptance from everywhere. They need to cut that out. Stop looking for everybody to accept you. Be mature about the situation. Pray more. Prayers work. Be kind and keep your sense of humor at all times.
Yeah.
Amen.
Keep your sense of humor at all times. That thing that your husband loves about you, continue to be that person.
Okay? 3 10-piece meal.
Sorry, Rochelle. Rochelle is actually getting on another.
Okay, no problem. So we're going to knock this out. Thank you so much for everyone who is watching us today. I pray that it has been such a blessing. Mr. Lana, you go ahead and you exit. Me and Miss Kemi, we got 2 more minutes to knock this out. Thank you so much, Mr. Lana. We really appreciate you. Rochelle, we appreciate you. Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Hey, Miss Liz.
Hey.
What's going on with you?
Nothing much.
Happy day. So my thing, I really love, all the all the little nuggets that you threw out there, what would be your last words that you want to say to everyone, to their wives that are out there?
Like you said, to wives and to husbands out there, let your family know where you stand with your spouse. Stand behind your spouse at all times. Even if your spouse is wrong, still stand behind your spouse. Dig, settle everything in your bedroom. Nobody needs to know what's going on between both of you. Because when you guys are doing your thing and they knocking the chandelier and everything over, you don't call anybody in it. So why are you calling anybody when you're having a little bit of electrocution? Don't call anybody in your bedroom. Keep it in your bedroom, just like you keep your private time in your bedroom. Keep that time in your bedroom. And for spouse, be yourself. Be yourself. This is between you and your husband. As long as your husband know who you are and your wife know who you are, that is what matters the most. Be real. Keep it real. Don't be fake. Don't try and fake it. Don't be who you're not. Let people know who you are and where you stand. And like she said, pray a lot. You have to pray, no matter what it is. You can pray. You can pray your husband to salvation. You can pray even your family into salvation. Just ask God. God, you are the third one in this marriage. I don't need anybody else in this marriage. It's me, my husband, and you. Let it be that way. And
Yeah, that prayer is good. But then again, I think a lot of times it's because this guy is coming from this family. This is his family. You can't tell him not to be around his family because
no.
or you can't say, I'm just using that.
If you do that, you cannot. It came from somewhere, and you have to embrace. Look, I always say when you marry a person, you marry the whole family. And where we come from is a family affair. But what I'm saying is, when it's between you and your husband, I'm talking about your personal relationship. That's between you and your husband. I'm not going to call my mom-in-law to come and see us have, make love. No, that's between me and my husband. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You keep keep that to yourselves. That's between you but the whole family, you have to embrace your family. It's a must. I mean, you came from a mom, you came from a dad. I always tell my father-in-law, I always thank my mother-in-law for my husband. I always say, thank you so much for my husband. I always thank my father-in-law for my husband. Because if it's not for them, my husband will not be here.
Yeah.
Always thank your in-laws, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law for having a beautiful husband, or for creating a beautiful son, or for creating a beautiful daughter. Because thanks to them that you're able to marry such a wonderful spouse is where they came from. They didn't drop from the sky.
And there's something, I'm sorry to cut you, but that there's something that they say in our Yoruba language that you can have a bad husband, but if you have good in-laws, it would eventually work out.
And it
but
will.
If you have a good husband, but you have bad in-laws, my God, you are in for a serious warfare. And you have to ask yourself, am I ready for this type of warfare? Am I ready to get myself
fasting and prayer?
And I truly believe that husband, if you know that you have complicated family members, let your wife know that ahead of time. Just like I said, my wife is a Margaret Tasha, my mother's a Margaret Tasha. So I let them know that you guys are literally the same. And to God be the glory, when they met, they fell in love with each other. You understand? And it was only because maybe he had already, told each of them, this is how you guys are. So
exactly.
So the thing is, don't go into marry a man blindly. Make sure that you get to know his family and certain
everything out.
And everything on the table. And certain things that they're doing in that family is something that you can handle. But because I truly feel that depending on the type of man you're married to, you want to be able to marry a man that that he has someone in the family that you can either report him to, that he listens to. The reason why I say that, because when crap hit the roof, is this the type of man that you can be quiet and continue to pray and it will really, really not affect you emotionally and not kill you physically? Or can you, because I've had counseling sessions where the wife will be able to report the husband to either his uncle that he really, really highly respects, And that uncle will now pick up the phone and call him and say, look, let's talk. And the husband would be a little bit okay. I know there was something that Miss Patience has said in our last interview that we did, how she reports her husband to his mother, only because she knows his mother.
Exactly. Because you need to be very careful who you report your husband to.
It depends on the type of mom.
He said the heart of man is desperately wicked.
Have
you ever seen somewhere a woman will go and report her husband to his uncle? Meanwhile, the uncle wants her.
I get that. But like I said,
the uncle will say, that boy is a useless boy. I will destroy their marriage. And before you see little girl in uncle's house.
Yeah, I mean, they have these crazy cases.
So where do you draw the line? So that's what I always say.
Go ahead, guys.
That's why I always say, it's best to make it a practice. Okay, it's one thing to go report him to his mother. Like my father-in-law will not allow me to report my husband to him.
That's why there's a difference.
No. I know. So what I'm saying is, rather, if you cannot report, in my case, like my father-in-law told me, don't report him to me. I cannot report my husband to my mother-in-law, to my father-in-law, but I can report him to God, his maker.
Yeah,
the one that has the key to the heart of the king and turn it whichever way he pleases. Now, why do some women don't get answers when they pray to God about their husband? Because their intent is wrong.
Yeah,
some women, you see, God deals with the intent of the heart. That's why some people say God is too slow. Just because we don't see God with our physical eyes doesn't mean he's not able to do.
Kemi, you are letting us go into another topic now. I'm a
because God will not manipulate your husband for you. God will not turn your husband into a mumu.
I get it. I totally get it. But many of us grow up differently. And I would tell you that there's been, I thank God for my family, where my mother-in-law has always told me that I shouldn't think anybody else in the four corners of this wall loved me and my husband more than her and my parents. You understand? And one thing that I recognized a very, very long time ago is that when I even go to my mom and say, if she calls me and she noticed that my voice has changed, it's not like I picked up the phone and say, Mommy, I need to talk to you about my husband. If she calls me to see that my voice has changed, she will say, my daughter, what is going on with you? So if I now say, nothing, Ma, she said, look, talk to me. If I even say, it's your son, I can't take this anymore, she never sides me. So when you have people like that, it's different than those other ones that are sickos.
You see what that's a good mom.
You understand? So my mom would tell me, she says, you know what? You know your husband. If you have a man that's taking care of home, taking care of you, even if nobody is perfect, even you are not perfect. You understand? So even if I pick up the phone and say, Elijah, this is what you guys got to, she'll just be praying. Her only thing is that she doesn't want a good thing to fall apart. So when you have people like that in your life, that's different from psychopaths.
But at the same token, be careful, like we said, what you say about your husband to your family. Because that might cause anonymity. They might just, because they love you. And they can just take that and say, oh, this useless man is not taking care of our daughter. Your mom is a different case. Like you say, it's not one size fits all. Everybody's case is different. You understand what I'm saying? But you need to be very careful what you say.
You're them say negative or you're sensing negative things.
If I do negative things about my husband to my family, my sisters will not respect my husband. And trust me, my husband is the firstborn of the whole family. He's the firstborn of the family. That's my husband. Everybody loves my husband. Everybody respects my husband because I've never.
He's a real cool guy. He's a real nice guy. That's why I like to compare your relationship a lot of times, because when we say girl, God made sure that you got yours. I don't want you to talk about like the man is if whoever even said anything, I would say it's not his fault, it's your fault. So please, when I bring you on set, please don't even yeah, it's a case, but we found it.
Yes.
So my final saying that I just want to say to a lot of wives out there who feel like you're married to a husband that has very, very complicated in-laws is that, girl, you know what? Stay in your space. Stay in your space. Be who you are. Love up on your husband. Continue to pray. Be yourself. Don't ever try to fake it to like you. Because if they never like you, then what are you going to do? You just continue to be yourself. And time would just, and if time doesn't eventually show how amazing you are and the reason why their sibling had married you, then that's their problem. You understand? Let them do it because you cannot satisfy everybody. And I want you to be in a space and in a place where you love who you are regardless of what anyone says about you.
Yeah.
You know who you are. You know who you are. Love your husband. Love your children. Take care of what's yours. And trust me, everybody else will mind their business. But make sure you never say anything disrespectful. Make sure that you don't disrespect his family unless they come in for you. And then just try not to be in their space if you think it's going to be that violent. But make sure that you respect yourself, you respect your husband, you respect your own family, and then you respect his family. Because that's what I do with my husband's family. I respect all of them. Even when I had a falling out with one of them, at the end of the day, because I did not come out of my face and say anything back to that person, at the end of the day, with time, they now realize who I was, and they loved. We are so much in love. She called me. I looked at my phone. She had called me like 3-something o'clock this morning, twice. So we've become best of friends. So that's what I want to say to all of you. Take it easy. There's nothing to crack you, and just be respectful of your family and the whole situation. Miss Liz, I just want to thank you once again for coming through. Always. The extra case that is out there. The cases that are on another level. So thank you so much for watching us on Married Let's Talk. We will talk later. If you have any topic that you would like for us to talk on, just put it in the comment section. Let me know, and I would definitely be up for the challenge. God bless you all.
Amen.
Bye.